In this video, I'm going to be doing the full review on the new Moto G Power 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. I've been using the Moto G Power 5G 2024 for a couple weeks now, and I think it's finally time to give my review. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about pretty much every single part about this phone and if you should pick it up. Now, first and foremost, we're going to be talking about the body and the style of this device, and I honestly really do like this device. It's not made out of anything super fancy. It is a plastic chassis on this phone and a rubber back, or eco leather back rather, right here. That's one of the things I actually really do like about this phone. It has to be the material design on this. This hasn't been used in a while, at least in the States. I know a lot of people say overseas this type of material has been used, but I haven't seen this on Motorola in a long time. But as you guys can see, we have this eco leather back, which gives us minimal fingerprints on the back of this device, which is beautiful to see. Also, love this texture right here. It just feels good, and you guys are gonna have more grip. Obviously. The rest of the setup, however, is kind of mundane. It's not the craziest design in the world. Of course, we have a dual rear-facing camera right here. We have our fingerprint sensor. That's actually quite good on the right side of the phone. That doubles as our power button. And the only other thing as far as like the design goes that I should kind of bring out is the bezels on this device. The bezels are actually quite big. As you guys can see at the bottom of the display, we have a super thick bezel right there, and we have a somewhat thick one at the top. I think that's one of the things that I do not like about the design of this phone, but overall I feel like this is a pretty strong, pretty sexy and elegant design of a phone, and I like the way it looks. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the display on this phone. This is actually quite a long phone. This is a 6.7-inch phone, so this is pretty much the same size as the S24 Plus, so you can expect pretty much a phablet feel of this device. However, it isn't like super thick. It actually feels quite thin, so I feel like most people will be comfortable with the size of this device. Of course, we have an IPS LCD display, 120 Hz refresh rate. Love the 120 Hz refresh rate. It looks fine. However, the viewing angles on this phone do not look good, as you guys can see, and for $300, even on devices nowadays, you can find $300 or less than $300 devices that do have AMOLED displays. So it kind of sucks that they kind of skimped out on the display in here. It kind of looks TFT to me. For the most part, most people are going to be totally fine with it if you're looking at it head on. So if you're watching videos, if you're watching movies, TV shows, scrolling through social media, it's gonna look fine. And I feel like most people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? I can't even notice anything. It's not until you turn it at a certain angle. And the people that have had a TFT display know what I'm talking about. But other than that, I don't think this is the greatest display in the world. I'm going to say it's okay. Alright everyone, next we have under the hood 128 gigabytes of internal storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. We also have the MediaTek Dimensity 7020, which we'll be talking about in a second. But running all of this, we do have Android 14 on this device. So great to see Android 14 out of the box. However, it has been said that we are only promised one operating system update. So that kind of sucks. I don't know how long the security patches are going to go for. Obviously, Motorola is kind of notorious for not, upgrading their phone or supporting their phone for a long period of time. So that kind of sucks to see on this device. I feel like most people are going to get a good 3 years out of this device though, so you should be good on 3 years on this. I don't think there's anything that crazy that's going to come out in the next couple of years that's going to make this phone irrelevant. So I feel like you should still get a decent 3 years out of this. You're just not going to have the most modern software support at the time. Now, getting into under the hood, so that 8 gigabytes of RAM, beautiful to see. I actually hardly see that on devices that are $299, so nice to see that we have that 8 gigabytes of random access memory. That's definitely going to help with having a bunch of windows open and stuff in the background and multitasking and all that type of stuff. So 8 gigabytes of RAM is great to see on this. Same thing with 128 gigabytes of internal storage, and we can also expand our memory via micro SD card. This is not going to be adoptable storage, so you guys aren't going to be able to download applications onto your micro SD card, but you are, however, going to be able to save photos, videos, and files and stuff like that. Now, the problem under the hood that occurs with this phone, and this is really only for gaming, honestly, as far as like our day-to-day use goes, scrolling through social media, texting people, making phone calls, watching videos, playing your occasional little mini game like Candy Crush or maybe even some Call of Duty Mobile, you guys are going to be totally fine with this processor. However, there are some devices out there like the OnePlus N30 5G that has a Snapdragon 695 5G inside that device, and it's a $250 device, and you have twice the power inside of that device. So if you guys are looking for a powerful gaming phone right here on the budget, you guys are definitely looking in the wrong place. However, you guys are going to be able to get by, but once you get into those super graphic intensive games, the Dimensity 7020 processor definitely pales in comparison to some of the things that are on the market today. So Genshin Impact and all of those hardcore RPGs and maybe even Warzone won't really run that amazing on this device. Call of Duty Mobile's fine. PUBG Mobile is fine, but you can definitely get a better gaming experience elsewhere. Now, as far as the battery on this device, this is actually going to be decent for the gamers out there. We do have a 5,000 milliamp battery inside of here that is going to actually last you a couple days. So we have a very, very decent battery on here, and I think they put the processor in here, the Dimensity 7020, to pair nicely with this because this phone lasts a very, very long time. So for the person who moderately uses a phone, isn't hardcore gaming or hardcore like watching videos and stuff like that, you guys are going to be able to get 2 days of use out of this battery. Now, the other cool thing about this battery is we actually do have compatibility with 30-watt wired charging. So beautiful to see on here. This actually beats out a ton of different phones like the A35, the A55, the A54, just a ton of different phones in this price range, especially seeing that this phone is like $200 less than those devices that I've stated. So nice to see that. And the great thing that we have on here as well is a 15-watt wireless charging rate that we can see on here. So beautiful to see that. A couple more things that I think I should let you guys know, especially in 2024. For the first time ever, we are actually going to have NFC on the Moto G Power 2024. So we can use things like Google Pay and all of the things that go with NFC. So you can hold your credit cards, debit cards, gym memberships, Costco membership, Sam's Club membership on here, and you can use it as your wallet. So great to see that we have NFC on here now. Beautiful. And of course, the bottom of the phone right here, I have to talk about this. Our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack is in here, so anybody that is an audiophile, those AKGs, those Sennheisers, those earbuds, those headphones that have been stored away for a while are actually going to get some use. So all of the people that like to listen to music with some nice triple driver or quad driver earbuds, you guys are going to get some good use out of that 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And the other thing that we have right here as well is a speaker at the bottom that's actually super strong, and it's actually paired with the headset. So we're going to have stereo speakers on this device as well that are extremely nice and crisp. For the price tag, $299 right here, you guys are going to get a good listening experience. So listening to music, watching movies, watching TV shows, and gaming as well. That's a big thing for people that are gaming. You cover up one side, but you have your headset right here that you can always rely on. Even if you don't cover it up, you got two stereo speakers right here, so you get that surround sound. So love the sound on this phone. It's actually really good quality. Now I feel like the last thing that we should get into is the cameras on here, and I do have some sample videos and some sample photos on here. So as you guys can see, the rear facing cameras right here, we have a dual rear facing camera setup right here, 50 megapixels for the main, and that's going to be utilizing a wide angle mode as well, and our secondary is going to be an 8 megapixel utilizing an ultra wide angle. So great to see that on here. Of course, we have our LED flash, never forget that. And as far as our rear facing camera, we can shoot up to 1080p at 60 frames per second or 1080p at 30 frames per second. And when we get to the front of the phone, as you guys can see, we do have a selfie camera that is also capable of wide angle mode. We also have HDR on this device, and we have a top recording of 1080p 30 frames per second. But all in all, this camera is okay. It's not the greatest in the world. I believe it's definitely a step up from the last variant of the Moto G Power. I believe the stabilization, especially in the 60 frame per second video section, has improved tremendously. And even the 1080 30 frame per second, it's actually gonna look good. I feel like people people can even vlog on this device if they wanted to. I did, however, experience some sort of grain in the video. It's not too bad, but we had some grain. It felt a little bit washed out as well compared to its counterpart like the Galaxy A35 and A25. I feel like those devices have much better saturation. But as far as like the sensor goes for video in general, I think this looks decent. I think most people are going to be happy about it, especially the people that are used to budget phone devices. I feel like you guys are going to be the happiest with this device. As far as the photos on this device as well, very clear. Like them, really do like them. Just one small problem, they're kind of washed out, but that's something you can always edit and post. So if you guys want to hire the contrast for whatever reason, that is definitely available for you. But I feel like all in all, the Moto G Power 2024 is actually a decent competitor. Motorola has been doing some good things, and it's really nice to see that we have some things on here that we did not expect out of Motorola. I believe NFC being one of them, decent video stabilization, a 3.5mm headphone jack, 8 GB of RAM, stereo speakers. There's some good stuff on this device. Now, should you pick up this device? If I was in your position, I feel like there's so many different options that you can pick up. I feel like you would have to really be a Motorola fanboy or fangirl to pick up the Moto G Power 5G. I think there's just too many options. You know, as I said before, OnePlus N30 5G. We also have the Pixel 6a, the Pixel 7a at some points. We had under $300. The Galaxy A35 is probably going to be pretty close to it soon. So, you know, you have some very, very close competitors. And if you guys are used to Motorola devices and you guys really do like this ecosystem because of the Moto actions and everything like that, then I feel like you guys should go with the Moto G Power 5G. It's a nice phone, and I feel like most of you would enjoy it, that very much enjoy Motorola devices. But only if you're looking for a Motorola device. I feel like there's many more options out there that you guys should search for that are going to be a better deal. So it all comes down to what you need. If you guys are a gamer, you guys are probably not going to want to go for this phone. If you want something a little bit more higher in power, you may not want to go for this phone. But if you want something that has Moto actions, that is stock Android or vanilla Android on here, has decent cameras, decent speakers, not the greatest display in the world, then you know, I can recommend it. But at the end of the day, I would say I'd give this phone like a 3 out of 5. It's not very great. If you guys have any opinions, leave them in the comments section down below. Obviously, you guys have your own opinions about this device, especially the people that have been using this maybe even longer than me. So let us know in the comment section down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Again, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. This has been Stefan from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.